have solved the war and won the war. This is the greatest country in the world. When we go to win a war, we win it.
The least dangerous with medical value.
We all know what happened to Nixon, Nixon's history, but we all know that he used the demonstrator to divert attention from his illegal bombing of Cambodia.
Look at the context in which these drugs erupted into the culture in the 60s. We were conducting a vicious war in Southeast Asia.
Where did this policy come from? Unfortunately, I have conducted an inquiry into this, and I have determined that drug prohibition laws came for reasons of racism, empire building, and ignorance.
I mean, in Nixon's mind, I think drugs were associated with not liking Nixon.
War on drugs. War on drugs.
Put that line back in your like funny little face I'm gonna do. Alright, this is San Julian right here. This is fucking like that is the spot, dude. I walk down San Julian, we will get all that. That dude, you can get the skins, yeah, all that fucking this tent city right here. This is San Pedro, Grand. All this shit, this is just nothing but drugs. This is considered a neutral territory to gangs, like all different gangs, Bloods, Crips. There's a different place of art. Yeah, but you should put that
Least
camera
dangerous
down.
with medical value.
We all know what happened to Nixon's history, but we all know that he used the demonstrator to divert attention from his illegal bombing of Cambodia.
Look at the context in which these drugs erupted into the culture in the 60s. We were conducting a vicious war in Southeast Asia.
Where did this policy come from? Unfortunately, I have conducted an inquiry into this, and I have determined that drug prohibition laws came for reasons of racism, empire building, and ignorance.
I mean, in Nixon's mind, I think drugs were associated with not liking Nixon.
Back when I was in college, we used to cross the Mexican border to buy pharmaceutical speed.
What about the Yes. Blackout, psychosis, illusions, putting my wrist, things like that. Really? Yeah. Seeing things, demons and stuff. Pretty realistic. Very realistic.
Is drug related?
Former Governor Gary Johnson.
Who's he?
He was the governor of New Mexico. He was the governor trying to legalize drugs.
Oh yeah, that's why he's not the governor.
What do you think about him? What do you think would happen to America?
Well, you know that guy. In fact, if I knew he was going to be on your camera, I probably wouldn't be talking. Because that's a defeatist attitude. That's right, New Mexico. But you should never have a defeatist attitude and give up because you say you can't solve the problem. So let's give up on bank robberies. Let's make everything legal.
The way I look at it basically is that we have gotten to where we've gotten today, and I think it's because of politicians and drugs have become the easy boogeyman to put all blame.
I'm the only politician, if you want to call me that will tell it like it is.
The judge ordered me to go to treatment, and I'm not able to go to treatment. This is what I'm getting. This is what I'm getting. Chain gang and trying to get. I'm afraid I may. If I don't get into drug rehab right away. Like within the first 12 hours of my release.
Drug war, non-violent drug tremendous.
They trade their stock on Wall Street based upon the number of people that are in jail. If that isn't sick, if that isn't the best definition of sickness in a society, in a culture, in a civilization, I can't tell you what is.
He's in custody right now for certainly under the influence of PCP, but certainly for the vandalism. He's also probably for ADW against the police officer because he was throwing glass at the police officers. Once again, completely incoherent and drug-induced crime, really.
But drugs. And so they're experimenting now more. And I believe we will have a whole menu of new drugs. And these drugs will not be regulated because the government has driven drugs underground.
I got my job description once, and I told him that's a new age and working. international narcotics investigations, and I told him, look, we have gathered intelligence that the Countess are involved in drug trafficking down in El Salvador. And then he just smiled, shook my hand, and walked away from me. And it was then and there that I knew that my government knew that these atrocities were occurring.
They were so.
I remember down in Central America, we were refueling planes full of cocaine coming into the U.S., and it was a CIA operation being run by the White House.
And to read the book, it was fascinating to find out that I was connected with the CIA and all these high-powered people up in the government.
With terminal lung cancer, one was institute of only wanting to get high.
The people who are waging the war on drugs have every interest in continuing to do so, because especially medicines like hallucinogens. And I think we all agree in these discussions that what they do is they allow you to change your perspective and to think outside of the box that you're closed into. And that's the last thing that this power structure wants, is for you to think outside of the box. In fact, they'd rather make your box smaller.
And here's an opportunity to have
They're not protecting people. They're not protecting society. I can drive stoned. I can't drive drunk. But alcohol's legal because I don't know how to make whiskey. Do you know how to make whiskey?
It makes me feel better as a physician to know that the medical board sees marijuana as a drug and they are dealing with it as a medication, because that's the truth.
If it wouldn't have been money in drugs, I never would have been involved. But for me, it was a way to get out of the ghetto. It was a way to have the American dream.
Okay. Welcome everybody to another crazy shite. We got a bunch of crazy stuff for you. And it's the Halloween season. Hallows of the Eve season. So we're going to go ahead and show you a bunch of spooky, weird, silly conspiracies or things that are Halloween themed for this week and next week. Although, next week I may be working for a haunted house all week, so we may not be doing any live streams. I'll let you all know. I was invited to work a haunted house. So I may be doing that on the weekdays of next week. Because we need some time to think it over. While we're on tour from November 1st to the 9th, we're going to be showing you all kinds of background stuff. So if you go to the link and donate to help us get on tour and make sure that we can pay for everything, gas and food, that would be much appreciative. We are going to be paid for our gigs, but it helps us a lot more if you people out there that want to see us go on tour help donate so that we can have a wonderful time and make sure we have enough gas, food, and a lube. We need to make sure we have enough lube for the tour, as always. So thank you all very much for being here, hanging out. We'll get this shindig started in just a minute.
I'm ready for love and I'm ready for war, but I'm ready for more. I know that nobody's ever been this fucking ready before.
And I'm going to go over everything I just said again and again. So, enjoy the music. As I figured it out, the bigger the river, the bigger the drought.
Get up on your knees, boy,
and face to face with your God. Find out who I am. I said, hello, my name, that's human. And that's my name, that's human. And God damn it, I forgot my pot. That's okay. I'll get it in just a minute. And we found out what 'cause I am. I'm face to face with myself. As hello, my name, that's human. Yes. In a minute, I will bring you all in. And hello, my name is human. As my name is human, hey, and I came down from the Should I just play it? Okay, screw it. Let's do it. We'll just do it. I don't know exactly what it is, but we'll go ahead and we'll play it. Let me do this. Stop. Get out of here. I have no idea what I have been requested to play, so we're just going to go ahead and play it. And if anybody does not like it, it's all Micro's fault. So here we go. Here's the next song we'll play, and then we'll get this shindig started. We're trying to get more people in here. Hopefully soon we will have a couple more people in as our guests. If there's anybody in the side chat who wants to come in as a guest, you just let us know in the Dismal Chords, and we will bring you in. So here we blow. One more before we get started. Obviously, it's your new sex tape, totally. So I'm gonna bow out for just a millisecond, just so I can go grab my pot, because it's too far away for me to grab. So I'll be right back.
Talk that way again. I don't wanna know people like that anymore. As if there was an obligation. As if I owed you something. Black me out. I wanna piss on the walls of your house. I wanna chop those brass rings off your fat fucking fingers. As if you were a kingmaker. As if, black me out.
Doesn't my girlfriend like my fat fingers, though? She likes how big they are when they fit inside it. Oh, never mind. Are we talking about something different? Honey, I'll fit my fat fingers inside of ya. So make sure everybody, you vote in the poll. We have a poll going on in the side chat. If you have not said hello to us yet in the side chat. Oh, is it unavailable? Okay, well, it seems like for some reason they took down our thingy because we used that video. Is that what happened? Yep. That was a copyrighted video, so just give us a second, and we'll be back up in just a second. Side chat, let us know when we're back again. Yes, Micro, it's all your fucking fault that you broke the stream. There are usually certain songs that we use and others that we don't. I don't know why that song for some reason broke it, but please let us know when we're back up again. It usually takes like 2 minutes or a minute for it to come back up. Let's see. Can I try playing something else or something? Can we try like? Thank you. Okay. So we just need to put on something different. I don't know what the fuck just happened exactly 100% until I look at the fucking whatchamacalled and the fucking YouTubes and who knows what actually triggered it. You could play music and maybe now you can't play music. I don't fucking know exactly. We played those songs before, I guess. If not, it doesn't matter. That'll be kicked out in the live stream once it gets. Yeah, it's all Ivy Coon's fault. So, anyways. I'm just going to bring in everybody and we're not going to do intros and we're just going to get the fuck on with this bullshit. So, hey, Brainless, how are you doing?
Hey, dude. I do believe it has to do with what label the song's on.
Yeah, sure.
Certain labels are a bit more dickish about that you using their music.
Yeah. And also, like, there are those sniper companies, so to speak, that will have your video uploaded in their database.
Yeah.
When it detects it, it automatically gets it flagged down, and then they alert the person and go, "Oh, we found people using your copyrighted material. Would you like us to do it for you? Just give us this money." And they have no right to do it. They're not legally allowed to flag for copyright, but they do. And I don't get how that's allowed, but YouTube is a hellscape. So, I mean, I had the issue the other day with their violation policy. Get this right. They took your stream down because you played fucking music. You remember the other day when I put in Queen's Discord that, like, I need someone to talk to because I'm upset. Because I saw videos of dog fighting, and dog baiting on YouTube recommended to me on their shorts. And you know what? There was no way to report that channel for animal abuse. Videos, yes. Channel, no. Like, their terms of service are fucked up, man. They take the stream down for that, but not that. YouTube, man. Hellscape.
Unfortunately, there's a bunch of problems with it, and their TOS is not set out very well. And guess what happened to me today on fucking Facebook?
Oh no, what?
Somebody reported my Slim Cyborg page as being fake. And so I had to send them a bunch of shit showing that I was Slim the Living Cyborg. Okay. So that was fun dealing with Facebook TOS today and them trying to cancel my fucking page because they said I wasn't who I was. Whoever the fucking sent in a complaint about whatever, dude, what the fuck? I think it was the algorithm thing that happened. I think that they just like algorithmically did it.
You talked about your Facebook page and like the names and things like that recently on like one of the religious cuckoo head videos you did.
Okay, sure.
So one of their followers has probably gone there and tried to fuck with you.
Yeah. Okay. That
it's a bit of a coincidence within days of the two happening.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I would believe that for sure. But my profile photo for Landon M. Ricker, and I don't give a fuck. I'm not doxing myself because I don't care if y'all know. Everybody should already know my fucking name, and if you don't, now you do. It doesn't matter. I'm not hiding anything. I'm a public figure. I'm out there. On my fucking profile photo for my actual profile, it says Slim Living Cyborg, or it says Slim Cyborg on my fucking thing. So no, I'm not faking being me. Like, what are you talking? Like, it's so fucking weird that like I got fucking claimed for being the fake me. So anyways, I dealt with that this morning. And then, of course, so whatever. TOS always changes and they update their services and blah, blah, blah. So whatever. Fuck you all. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and hi, Micro. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. Well, I'm going to get a spanking now.
Yes, you definitely are going to get a spanking. Well, not now exactly. We're going to have to wait till we get off stream, and I definitely will flog the crap out of you. Anyways, we said hello to, we say hello to you, Vila. We said hello to Brainless. We say hello to everybody so far.
I guess so.
Okay, I got a little confuzzled because of this bullshit happening in the beginning of my stream, so that's the only reason why. Like, cheese and rice. So thank you all for being here. Queen is looking at more apartments, trying to find a place for us to live in the near future. So she is busy. Hopefully a couple other people will join. And if there's anybody who wants to go in the side chat that wants to join us, just let us know in the Disney Accords or somewhere where we can send you a link. What I was while the music was playing, and I realized it was a little loud, was we're going on tour. Me and 3 other people are going on tour. November 1st through the 9th, and we'll be doing 6 different gigs through those days. But we have an RV that we're in. We need food, gas, and other things. Yes, we're getting paid to do these, but the pinned message is up to help donate to help us go on tour. We just need a little bit of money to make sure we have food and that the gas is paid for before we get paid. Because the thing is we need a couple $100 for gas before all of the guarantees come in. You got to do the show first before you get a guarantee. Yes, sometimes we do get a deposit, but that is still nil compared to what we get at the event for having 4 performers. So all we're asking for is just to help donate a little bit of money for us to go on tour. And like I was saying during the song, which may have been hard to hear, we will be showing you behind the scenes things in the Disney Accords. And if you contact us and you're in contact with us in other ways other than on the YouTubes, you will see more behind the scenes things. We're going to be posting lots of shorts. We're going to be posting other things. And we may do a couple of live streams of the events or things that we're doing or showing you around before the events and stuff like that. So the more, donate to help us facilitate that more, and we will give you more product for donations is what I'm getting at. We're not just going to ask you for money just to help us go on tour. We will give you more content for that as well. So getting on to it, it looks like at this point, demonic possession is the top leader. So if you're here in the side chat and you've not said hello to us, we're going to say hello to the side chat right quick. Then go ahead and vote in the poll if you had not, and then we will go from there and we'll get into this content that we have, which is Halloween themed. And I know I didn't present that as well as I should have on the description and things like that. But I've been busy with all the events I've been doing for this month and getting ready for everything for lots of things. I've been busy. So anyways, let's say hello to the Demon. Of course, Demon is here. We have the Mama. Yep.
Hey, Demon.
Yep.
Goedenavond.
The Super Magos, of course.
Super Ghost, get into bed.
And then a Schizomaroony is here as well. And that looks like everybody.
Motherfucker.
Looks like everybody's
We're gonna ruin chat. We're gonna blow it up together. Ghost and Skits.
Yes, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course you can totally do that, Vila. Go ahead and put that in the side chat. Would you like to explain what's going on? Yeah,
right.
Please do it. Yeah, totally.
So I'm going to put my cash out a bit today, and I'm going to be doing some streams to try and get some money. because my heat mat has decided to break quite badly.
Vila, then I want to offer one thing. I can do shots. Not today because I'm on call.
Yeah.
I'll do a stream with shots for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I need that heat mat a lot. No, when I'm on video, if you ever see the white thing that's near my stomach, that's the heat mat. Like it seriously helps with my pain and my disability. So like, I really need to replace it. So I'm gonna try and beg for money. Please help me. Please.
Yes, definitely. So if so, go ahead and put that in the side chat. So if people would like to help out with her, thank you. Please do that. We try to bring you as much content and as much silliness and funness as possible. So the more you donate, the more fun that we can try to bring you as well. That's as chilly as we're going to be for right now. And so I just posted it in the side chat with a cash app to send that to you.
Slim, your mic is not doing too well today.
Yeah, it's very muffled.
Yeah. It's even worse than when you're playing a game on your PlayStation. Just saying.
Is that any better?
Oh, definitely. You just turned it on. It was off, I think. It's like you just turned it on now.
Okay. All right, so that fixes that. I mean, I'll be turning you on and off all night long, Micro, but we'll talk about that later. So is the audio now a lot better?
Yeah. It's perfect.
Okay. Sweet. Perfect. Awesome. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give like 10 more seconds to the people who would like to vote in the poll. And as soon as we get maybe one or two more entries, that's not the right word. There we go. Sorry. I'm tiny bit distracted because of all the crap that happened before, and So, anyways, we're getting to there, and okay, sweet, awesome. Yeah, it was just turning up like barely anything on my voice meter is all that it was. So let's get into the Halloween season now, although we've been getting into it most of October. And I should say Hallows Eve season, because I want to say it properly and not say it the Western world way. So far we're still at demonic possession 43%, urban legends 29, and 14 are cursed objects and paranormal mysteries. So if we can get one more vote, then we should have an order that we can use. So let's try to get one more vote if we can. It looks like one or two more people just joined us. So once that happens, then we're going to go ahead and get into it. Let me find the right videos. Yes, exactly. We're going to slide inside of all of you. I mean...
Oh, the people know that things can slide into me now. Right, Skids?
Yeah. Yes, Skids. Unfortunately, he's probably... Well, he is here. So, all right, let me see. Go back to...
I've seen him around. He's pretending that he's working.
He's good. He's really good at double teaming stuff, so he can do two things at once pretty easy. I saw the video the other night.
Wait, he's good at double teaming?
Better order now.
He's good at double teaming. Can you and Skids double team me?
No, never mind.
Oh, what are we at now? Okay, we're still at demonic. Okay.
Yeah, it changed again. 2 people must have voted instead of 1.
Ah, Stupid cunt.
No, that's fine. We want the
There
more.
people be involved. Oh my gosh, what are you thinking, you awful, awful audience?
Yeah, how could you do that?
How can you?
I know, right? How dare you want to be involved with us? Ugh.
It's so gross.
Well, if they want to be involved with
They
you,
both
I get
went
that.
one time to 11, 2 more people.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it 10 more seconds, and we're gonna go ahead and hi Sydney. We're gonna go ahead and start it. I believe we're most likely gonna be doing demonic possession, urban legends, and then either or for the other ones. We're probably gonna do cursed objects and then paranormal mysteries, whichever way we finger it. So like I said, 5 more seconds.
I'm very interested in the cursed objects and demonic possession.
Yeah, those are the two that I think are the most interesting.
Oh, I'm ending the poll now. So, Brainless, will somebody please?
I'll grab that. I'll put it in the side chat and in a text document on my end as well.
And of course, Mama has it right. How do we say that properly? I don't remember. Samhain?
No, Samhain.
Samhain. Okay, yeah, I knew it was pronounced
And it's Samhain.
Oh, that's right. Okay, but anyways, that's a pagan way to say
Samhain or Samhain, depending on the Gaelic dialect, because there's the Samhain in the Irish dialect and Gaelic, and the Samhain in the it's either Welsh or Scottish Gaelic, but so is literally the cat, like the pig. So Samhain, it's to do with the fires and the cleansing fires of the animals and entering into the death cycle of the earth, i.e. winter. Halloween, Samhain, is the beginning. It's marking the last day of the harvest and the beginning of winter. So,
yes. So it originally was a pagan tradition that was used to bring the harvest. Or wait, the ending of harvest?
Yeah, to celebrate the last harvest and the beginning of winter starting. As you know, the pagan calendar goes around the actual nature. So, it would be the mid-winter solstice, right? 21st, 22nd of December marks the halfway point of winter because it marks quite literally the shortest day and the longest night. Every day from then on will get longer and longer and longer, which means winter has got halfway through because it's reached the darkest it's going to get in winter, right?
Yes.
So we're going back, same as the midsummer solstice marks the longest day and the shortest night, marking the day's got the light's got the longest it will be.
Yeah.
So it goes around that, and then there's the other ones dotted in to do with various other aspects of it, all to do with the seasons and the stars and everything.
Most of them go on harvest time. So there's multiple harvest times, and then the not harvest, and then wanting of the harvest, and then going away of things, and then the dropping the seeds and making them sow, and, you know what I'm saying, like the reaping and sowing and blah blah blah. But Glover Mom has it right. It was the pagan holiday that was turned into Halloween, which is the that season of harvest or that type of crops.
Same with Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. There's just different seasons of different harvests for different things. Right, you plant certain things in different times of the year because they will grow in certain times of the year, and you're just wanting those harvests to happen, and that's what early religions before Christianity were all based around: the sun, moon, and stars and stuff for harvesting. You knew when a certain moon came out at a certain time of the year that you were supposed to plant certain things. You're supposed to do certain things. The witches flying their broomsticks over harvest fields was not because they were flying through the moon. It was because they were trying to show the crops how high to grow and other little things like that made.
No, the witches flying on broomsticks was because they were riding it, getting high on the acid rub that they do on it, and were jumping around naked, dancing, having a whale of a time.
Yeah, but the villagers saw from afar these people doing these weird rituals and assumed these other things were going on. But it really was just people getting fucked up on drugs and alcohols and partying. I mean, that's literally a bunch of what like pagan rituals were about, is partying to celebrate.
And the funniest thing is the earliest form of Christianity in its purest form, because it was the beginnings, was a Christo-pagan Christianity.
Yes,
where Christianity had adopted pagans, and pagans were still doing some things to do with paganism, but more with the Christian God. So the actual purest form of Christianity is Christo-paganism.
And
which
they adopted,
I find hilarious.
Yeah, and what every single fucking holiday they have, they use anytime they bring up something to celebrate. It is all based off of pagan traditions originally.
And most churches in the UK are stolen from pagan sites of worship. That's why in England, when you find a old church, there will be a old
pagan site near it.
Tree.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot the name of the tree. That's so bad. They're the oldest trees in England, and they were very sacred to the early pagans.
And they did the same thing with like old
the 14-old tree or 14-old Jew. I can't say Jew.
Juniper?
The juniper tree.
No, there's the name in the private chat. Is it that one?
Oh, hang on.
I think they call it. No, but see, it's not just the oldest tree, but there's every single one of these is next
it's the yew tree.
Is it
yew trees are some of the oldest trees in England. So we have yew trees that are like, that one's 5,000 years old, right?
Yeah.
We have a lot of trees that are like 2,000 years old, things like that. They're all miraculously built in Christian great churches, which have the graveyards, right? Because these are the old ones.
Yeah,
that's not a coincidence. The Christians stole that site from the pagans, because the pagans used those trees in early
and they
worship.
took it over. Yeah, totally. And they took it over, and so they could use it, and then they began like preaching in those spots.
Colonizing everyone.
Not the English. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, the English would never do something so terrible.
No, they wouldn't go around
the land.
They wouldn't go around the world and take everybody's spices and use it for their advantage for the rich.
Sure.
No,
hey! Don't just blame the Brits.
So here's an example of
Dutch had a big
blame
part in
Canada
that as well.
too. Blame Canada.
The Dutch also had a big finger in that.
And the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. But anyways, getting back to this before.
What a good thing I live in a country that was shitty at that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they were not good. They didn't take over very many places. They pretty much were like, we're gonna sit here and just do our own thing. We're good. We're good. Anyways, so this is what we're speaking about, is see this tree that is built in the middle of a Christian, there's the church behind it, and then there's all the tombstones around it, and then it has the thing around the tree, right? So they literally built the church around this tree because it was a pagan
It was
a pagan
worship.
Hold on. It was a pagan altar being the tree. What they would do is they would bring offerings to the tree for things, thinking the god of the trees, which was called Schitt, the man in the green man. It's called the green man. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. The man in the trees, right? The face in the oak.
Yeah.
He was the spirit of, and there's also fairies in these trees. So all of this stuff, mythology was based around these trees
No. Their language was based around trees. So, like, Vikings have the runes. The early English Celts and Picts and everything also had a runic language, and it was like the tree language, and it's because it looks like branches coming off a tree. So they also had their own gods and goddesses like everyone else. There was like the Morrigan, things like this, Bridget. They all have their place. So the yew is a site of worship. They believe that those trees are sacred, that they have divine knowledge in them.
And that's what I was saying.
The tree of knowledge in Viking culture, in Celtic culture,
and that's
in Christianity. That's where they stole it from.
Well, and that's why I was saying that's why I was saying, Vila, they were considered altars technically, because it was a place of worship, a place where you did your ceremonies around, and you gave things to or around it for the different spirits that were involved with that thingy-mabobber, right? And then the Christians came in, and what they did is they dissolved that. They tried to get rid of the paganism so they could put their instill their ideals into it, and then they took it away from them to not be able to. Yeah, I know. That's exactly. Look at how they did this. Yeah, they fucking built a fucking wall.
They knew the pagans would go to that tree, so they built the church there.
And look what they did. They put a wall around it. They made a cemetery around it. They put the church right next to it. They made another wall. There's another wall. What they did is they made it so the pagans can't just come in and do what they wanted to do without being involved in the church. And then they had to be a part of the church to do it. And the other thing is, if you were a pagan and you came here and you were not part of the church, what did they fucking do to you? Killed you, hung you. I mean, made you go away. If you did not say that you were part of the church at this point and you were only giving a repentance to the tree in paganism, you got disappeared, or they disowned you and they kicked you out of the fucking what is the lands called that they used to have when there was a king over lands. And anyways, when you had your own lands that were not your lands, the king could literally say, "Poop, you're out," and kick you off your land. And I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. This is how this works. I drink some. The only reason I drink before we do the streams is because I have to dumb myself down to like go over some of these things, because there's a lot of idiocracy we have to go over. Anyways, whatever. But we all know what we're speaking about, and I think we're all on the same page and we all understand what we're getting at. And what we really want to get to right now, Vila, if you want to say like one or two things while I transfer over, we need to get what this demonic possession thing is, because I have something that I don't think any of you have heard yet, and we're going to go over something different, and then we'll go over another thing about demonic possession. I have two things to go over, and I have something very, very special for us to go over. So, Vila, if you want to say anything more about the situation before I get over to the next one, go for
it. Just the other thing is like, so okay, we in the transfer over of it.
Yeah.
St. Patrick. Everyone knows what he's famous for, right? He drove the snakes out of Ireland.
Oh, right.
But what does that actually mean? How many of you know what that means? What does that mean?
There were a bunch of prostitutes in town, and he got all the Johns to get run out of town, so the prostitutes couldn't get the snakes inside. Oh, sorry, that's a different thing. We'll talk about that later. No, that's not right. Vila, please tell us about that.
So he drove all of the pagans into the sea. So back then, the shaman, the wise men, their symbols were antlers and a snake.
Really quick, I'm going to say one thing. Just like the pharmaceutical company's symbol is the snake wrapped around the pole, right? So that's what it was. Is it was kind of correlated with that a little bit, but the Christians didn't want.
Is a symbol in medicine, like for a lot of cultures. There's a lot of
and so that was kind of what they did.
Lap over. It looks like they should be connected, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they are, but a lot of the time it is just coincidence, and it just goes to prove the human mind sees these things as correlation naturally, which is fascinating. But yeah, St. Patrick drove the shaman into the sea. He killed them. That is when you celebrate St. Patrick's Day, you are celebrating one of the days that Ireland truly lost its identity as a pagan country by some random colonizing bastard coming over and forcing you to not actually have the religion you want. Like,
no,
happy
exactly.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yay!
So we can put that on the same list as Thanks Taken.
So before we get into motherfucking shit, cheese and rice. Skits Crasher says, of course, objection. And then I was about ready to say this, but then Mango comes in and says grounds. Damn it, I was going to say that, and then you fucking posted it. So if you all don't know what we're talking about, we are all in the private Discord, in the Discord of Queens. The Daryl Brooks, is that his fucking name? Yeah, it's Brooks. Trial where the sovereign citizen is going through a trial that he's representing himself. So there is going to be a lot of fun stuff in the near future. Queen and I and other people will be going over a deep dive of this trial. I just wanted to go on a tiny bit longer before we begin, and we're gonna do like 4 different fucking things of this. Yeah, exactly, Mama. There was not literal snakes in it. That's what Vila is saying. It was all about like she said, the shaman that were considered the medicine healers, and that's why they use the snake in their symbology. And that's why it was used, and that's why snakes are used in the symbology of pharmaceuticals and medicine nowadays, because it came back all the way from the times of the Greek, I want to think, is when they began using that symbol for medicine or something like that.
I cannot remember the name.
I don't know if it was Greek or if it was Romans. I don't remember. It was one of them, right?
The Greeks did, but the Romans also did. For the Romans, I believe it was Jupiter that they believed was the god of healing and medicine.
Okay. I around that time though is when like the snake got turned into medical stuff, because what they used to do is they used to take fucking venom from a snake, right, and give it to you for certain things. And yes, if you had certain things wrong with you, it kind of would help those to some extent if you drank them, but it wasn't a really good thing. So that was like the first like pharmaceutical narcotic was fucking snake poison, technically.
So yeah, Asclepius is the Greek god of medicine and healing, and he is the one that we associate with the snakes.
And I believe
son of Apollo.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mango, if you are free, I did send you a link. Skits, you have a link, and a handful of other people have a link. If you all want to join us before we get into Son of a Beach. I was looking up stuff for the Halloween seasons, and somehow demonic possession came up to me, and I've always been very, very fascinated about this as what's real and what's not, and to prove how you prove it, and what is mental disease and or other diseases, or people going through hallucinogenics and things like that. So this is a psychiatrist who spent 25 years investigating demonic possession. So this is somebody in the field of brains and how they think, right? Even though a psychiatrist 100% could be considered pseudoscience to some extent, because it is just like studying the way that people's patterns are in reacting to the living world, I guess is the best way to put it. But let's hear.
I don't think it fits into the definition of that, but of pseudoscience. But like, I don't remember the definition, but I don't think it fits.
But it's hard. It's hard. There's so many different types of psychiatrists and different ways that psychiatrists do things. That's why I said. That's why I said I don't want to exactly call it that, but it's hard to define the best way to do this. And the other reason I said that is the way this gentleman kind of goes through some of this stuff. So yes, like Freud, right? Or whatever. He was like, if you think about having sex, you want to have sex with your mom or whatever the fuck it was. And you're like, so like, there is a lot of to it, but it's still very open-ended.
It's a shame. Like Sigmund Freud.
Yeah.
Most of his theories about the human mind have been proven absolutely wrong.
Yes,
wrong.
Totally.
However, he is the father of modern psychology because he discovered that we don't need to electrocute people and stab their brains out and do all these crazy torture things to them, but just talk with them.
Okay, so really quick, I'm going to go through this as fast as fucking possible because it does not matter 100%. But so when I got molested in Christian school in kindergarten, I was the one who told on the person, and I got sent to therapy. And I went through a bunch of experimental therapy they'd never gone through before for people that have been molested at all. There's not been people that have gone over that study in psychiatry yet in the early 1990s. So we're talking about like 1991, 1994. No. Maybe 89 to 91 or something like that. So they were experimenting a bunch on having me and my friends going through psychotherapy by testing things, right? So at the time, there were just a bunch of experimenting. When I wore a dress to school in 9th grade in 1995, I believe it was, it may be 6, my parents sent me back to psychiatry, and nobody knew what to do with me because I wanted to be transgender. They had no idea what being transgender or having body dysmorphia was, right? So I'm like I'm telling psychiatrists stuff, and they're like, "What the fuck?" I've never heard somebody tell us that these weird things. Well, to them it was weird. To me, it's normal because I want to wear a dress and wear makeup and pretend I'm a girl and run around in high heels. But I have a penis. There was no understanding of that. And then the same with like going through the therapy for when I was younger.
I kind of want to point out when you say pretend, that's for you, but transgender people don't pretend that we are girls and women.
No, Sure.
I just wanted to point out that that's your word, not everyone else's.
Sure. I wasn't pretending. I wanted to do these things, and I didn't understand the concept of not wanting to play sports, or I didn't want to do masculine things, but I wanted to be more feminine. And again, I did not feel comfortable in my own skin at the time. Like, I didn't understand the concept of why I didn't know that, and nobody else did. I went to 5 different fucking therapists, and they're like, I don't know, you're fucking weird. And I'm like, wait, you're supposed to help what the fuck? Anyways, yes, I'm sorry I said pretend. I should not have said pretend, but wanting to do things in the other gender. I wanted to wear dresses and wear makeup and play Barbies with my sisters and things like that, right? Instead of playing G.I. Joes with my brother or our friends. I wanted to be like do other things, and that's where the confusion was. So for me, I went through a bunch of experimental therapies. They were trying different things out on me. Let's just keep going because we'll talk about a whole thing about how I went through different therapies through my whole entire life, and like still I should probably be going through therapy because I'm still psychotic. But anyways, so this is a psychiatrist who spent 25 years investigating demonic possession.
Possession, a phenomenon that's mostly written off in the modern day by the average person. But what happens when respected professionals see and experience things that convince them otherwise? Could we consider the possibility that demonic possession could indeed be real?
Hey, Jasper.
I want you to keep that question in mind throughout this video, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. Today, we will be discussing one such man whose experiences altered.
Okay, we are going to like speed this up just a tiny bit because he talks really fucking slow.
When he met a woman named Julia.
Okay, we're gonna get through that.
He began to be asked to provide medical oversight as a doctor of psychology to cases from different churches of different faiths, cases which the churches believed the individuals to be potentially genuinely possessed. Several cases in particular altered his views forever. A member of the local Catholic clergy approached Dr. Gallagher and asked him if he would provide his medical opinion on a case he was working on. Word had gotten out that Dr. Gallagher was both a great doctor as well as a skeptic, to which the priest commented, "We understand that you're skeptical, and this is part of the reason as to why we want to use you." Gallagher accepted and made an arrangement to meet the woman and to begin her examination. The woman was claiming to be assaulted by forces she couldn't see, invisible monsters, if you will. This woman was known for being kind and rational, a devoutly religious Hispanic woman who had no history of mental illness. She described the episodes where she said she experienced an evil force that would overtake her and would subsequently beat her. The beatings, however, were not in her mind. Bruises would materialize on the woman's body, seemingly out of nowhere. And during the examination, Dr. Gallagher saw this happen for himself, and after several days, he came to the conclusion that not only was the woman completely sane, not even showing the slightest indication of mental illness, but that he believed what she was experiencing was genuine. From this strange case, the doctor continued to assist with providing psychiatric expertise and came to the conclusion that the vast majority of the cases turn out not to be true demonic possession, and only about 1 in 100 cases could even be considered anything of the sort. The doctor's examinations were very thorough.
He said only one out of
psychologically examined persons,
a bunch.
But would also interview any and all family and friends who were aware of the situation as to understand.
Let's go back. I believe it was 1 in 100.
Yeah, but sounds more like the priest and him are playing together and saying, no, they demonic possession.
I think there's a lot of behind the scenes sex going on and money trading, and that's what I'm gonna claim. But that is only hearsay, or that is an opinion. I did not mean that. Priest, don't sue me. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I there's something going on here, and that's why I picked this, because it seems sus as fuck. What he comes up with, and once again, that's why we go over things like this, is we try to expose frauds and fakes, and that's why I was so grateful that we went over the beginning of the topic that we did before we got into this, because we kind of already went over like thingy-mabobbers and how things are like already kind of thought of with these mythologies to some extent, how they were already brought to light in like where people are thinking about stuff like the green god and other pagan things, right? And that's where most demonic possessions kind of come from, is through that ideology from the past, and then they're bringing it into this. And then unfortunately, I don't know if they go over this 100%, but unfortunately, most people that have mental disorders and or going through a psychotic episode are the ones that got put into exorcisms, and they ended up dying from this. And that's another reason why we're bringing this up, is to like show the non-medical versions of this. And like, can you even trust this gentleman? I mean, like, if you saw him and he told you with his pink ass tie that you were demonically possessed, like, I'd totally not believe him.
He looked like someone who's gonna scam you.
Yeah, exactly. He looks like a scammer. Exactly. So let's keep blowing on.
Genuine. From this strange case, the doctor continued to assist with providing psychiatric expertise, came to the conclusion that the vast
look at his face. Look at that face right
turned out
there.
not to be true demonic possession. Only about 1 in 100 cases could even be considered.
He said 1 in 100 could be considered.
He not only physically and psychologically examined the persons, but would also interview any and all family and friends who were aware of the situation, as to understand the story as a whole. And out of those 1 out of 100 cases that didn't fit into any known psychological pattern, supernatural characteristics would manifest. The persons who he believed were genuinely possessed would often display frightening behavior, such as the person speaking in languages that they couldn't have possibly known, exhibiting extreme strength with no known physical cause.
But have you proved they were actually speaking a language they don't know, or are they speaking in a tongue that sounds like exactly, but it sounds like a real language, right?
Well,
I mean,
like
I can
you can pretend to speak French, like you make French sounding words. That kind of sounds like it could be French. Yeah,
like you know,
yeah,
and you're like,
like
that might have been
but that
French,
was an ancient language that you just spoke.
Sure,
died out.
No, exactly. And so it's easy to, and one of the things that happens when somebody's going through a psychotic episode and they're off their medication, they've never been medicated, or they're going through mental distress, you will speak in words that don't make sense. Does that mean they're speaking in tongues? No, but they're not putting cognitive sentences together and or not pronunciating in the proper way because they're going through an episode. We've seen this a gazillion and a half times, you know, with people that are homeless and or through other situations. I've been in different situations where I've been around people that are going through this jail, halfway homes, you know, weird things where people just start fucking going insane. They're not demonically possessed. Their brain chemistry is fucked and they need to be helped. There needs to be some kind of mental intervention. They need medicine. They need counseling. They need somebody to calm them down. They need somebody to tell them what is really happening in the situation. There are people also that do fake this as well. There was a lady 2 months ago who was drunk driving in a school area to go pick up her kids, and she starts speaking in tongues, trying to get out of the citation because she's drunk driving. You know, how many times do we know they're faking or they're trying to pretend they're insane or doing an act? And or one of the other things that happens when you're like at an evangelical church is they have plants. So somebody will walk into an aisle or go into the front row or something and be speaking in tongues, and the person comes up and heals them. Well, they were paid $100 30 minutes before to do that. I'm guessing most of the cases here are actual people that are in real harm and they're not being taken care of properly. And just because you're a psychiatrist does not mean you're a medical physician and that you know. And he said, I physically looked at them or gave them a prognosis from physically doing something to them. What the fuck does that mean? Was he fingering people or like jerking them off or sticking his finger up their butthole? We don't know what that means, giving them a physical examination. You're a psychiatrist. Psychiatrists do not give physical examinations.
Physical examination? Wait. Didn't they get bruises?
Sure. Let's say that they looked over their body to see if they're...
is not causation.
Sure.
Not always.
Exactly. Because like if we're talking about like Queen, she has stuff going on where like if you like poke her in certain spots, the next day there's bruises all over her whole body.
I had a girlfriend that had that. Like,
there's all kinds of medical.
If you looked at her, she would get bruises.
Exactly. There's medical conditions where I'm sure Vila can attest to something close to something and things and stuff where, right? Like you barely bump into something and the next day you got a huge bruise or, you know, there's all.
I bruise
Yeah.
really easy. I wake up on the regular with bruises everywhere where I don't know where it's from. Scratches all over my body.
Yeah.
And I could look at it like, oh shit. Like I've been attacked by a ghost, obviously.
Sure.
No, I've bumped myself in my sleep. I've knocked my leg doing something.
Or you don't
accidentally scratched me.
And or you don't remember running into something or bumping into something, and it doesn't show up till after you lay down and wake up, and then you see bruises from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So all kinds of. Go ahead, Micro.
A different viewer would probably believe that must have been a ghost or a demon or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. So remember, folks, that's what we're trying to get at is causation is not correlation. Is that the right way that I always is that how I'm supposed to say that? Just because your butt hurts in the morning.
Correlation is not causation. Correlation is not causation.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Just because you wake up in the morning and your butt hurts doesn't mean somebody did something to your butt. You may have eaten Taco Bell the night before, right? You have to think about what happened to yourself before and after, and you're not.
If you were visiting or not.
Well, no. If I'm in your area and your butt hurts when you wake up, just thank me and make sure you tip me afterwards because I don't do that to everyone. So you're welcome.
So Slim, I want to prove your point with this, right? So when I was 15, it was Halloween, and I was having my boyfriend and his friends over for a little movie stuff, just chilling.
Yeah.
Now, at the time, my mum's house was by a cemetery.
Okay.
And it was quite a big one, and it had beautiful, beautiful old graves in it. And I'm talking 16th, 17th century graves.
I would have loved to grow up around that. Yeah.
Going all the way up to modern day.
Yeah.
So it's lovely. Now, one of the stones was for a judge, right?
Okay.
I decided to fuck with everyone. And I said, oh, there's the body of a judge, right?
Yeah, totally.
The legend is that on the other side of the graveyard are the bodies of some of the people he sentenced to death, right?
Yeah.
This was a graveyard, not a church cemetery kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know what the difference is, but it's technically not consecrated ground.
Yeah. The religion is different or something.
Yeah.
It's not blessed or whatever.
That commit suicide and all these sorts of things.
Yeah. Okay.
Are able to be buried there because it's not consecrated ground.
Yeah.
In other words, criminals get buried there, things like that. It's not a big deal to religious people if you're not religious, so no one cares. So it's just a grave site to most people. But I was saying and he's buried here because it turns out that he was biased and stuff, and the people swore revenge on him, and you'll hear the sounds of the ghost still trying to get revenge on the judge. Right, I came up with this big backstory.
Yeah.
And then abandoned them all in the cemetery.
Yeah, that's great.
This cemetery was not haunted. There was absolutely nothing like that story I told. I bullshitted the entire thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Most of them were fine, but I found the boy that was religious.
Yeah.
In the fetal position, rocking back and forth, saying the Hail Mary.
Yeah, that's great.
And I had to explain to him it's not
a fucking
real.
joke.
No, I saw this. I heard this. I'm like, no, you didn't. This isn't haunted. I lied. I made it all up. But his brain started seeing what it wanted to see. Any noise that was a normal noise, he attributed to ghost, paranormal, something wrong.
There's a thing about suggestive something that is a psychosis from that. If you suggest certain things to certain people in a certain way, like at a campfire, in the dark, while they're a teen, blah, 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 their brain is going to see that crap no
It's
matter
one of the
what
things
happens.
that adds to mass hysteria, isn't it?
Yeah, no, totally, for sure. You get one townsperson to say they saw something around a bunch of other townspeople and they spread it, and they were there. They're going to say that they saw it as, it's mass hysteria. It's exactly the same fucking ideology. And Glober Mom, thank you so much for bringing this up. I wasn't sure, and now I feel way better about my psychiatrist sticking their fingers up my butt for those 4 years. Anyways, no, I'm just joking. But let's keep blowing on with this. And what's so funny is this photo that we have on screen this is not how an exorcism should work. You should not have dudes beating up a female. And I think it's a dude, but to me, it kind of looks like a female that's getting like roughed up by men. Yeah, no.
It looks like that guy behind her is sniffing her hair.
Yeah, their hair and it looks very, very creepy.
It's very erotic.
But once again, this is one of the other reasons that exactly without consent. This is one of the other reasons why religion is very scary, because they can say they can do whatever they want through some kind of practice like circumcision. They get to cut little boys' penises at birth or around that so that they can do whatever. And like only recently was it illegal for them to not suck the blood off of the cuts. And that's all I'm going to say.
Only after a rabbi started spreading around herpes to a load of children.
And that was only in the last like 6 years or something like that. But again, let's just keep we'll talk about it later, Micro. We're not going to talk about it.
It happened in New York within the last 10 years. So to make it easier to search for the story.
Yeah, so look up the reason why. It's whatever. Once again, we will go over this again in the near future. We already went over it once, but we will go over things that are nasty about the American. Well, the reason why I'm going to say Americanized religions over here is just because I have more experience with them. But all of these, I'm going to say douche nozzles are so scared about us transitioning children with their genitals that they're going to make it illegal. Honey, all of you religious people fucking cut little boys' penises. What are you talking about? We're not doing anything to kids' genitals, but you all are. But you're telling us, never mind. We're just keep blowing on.
Claiming to move objects around the room without touching them, and displaying unknown knowledge about people, places, and things that no human being could possibly know. And we'll get into that more later in this video.
But once again, I have to do this once we see that, right? I need a citation for that bullshit. Like, where, when, how? I don't have proof of any of the stuff they just said, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Vila, go ahead and Micro, go ahead and look in the private chat over that. And we, like I said, we will be going over something about that because we have to talk about top surgery, bottom surgery, and we have to talk about the different medical procedures, how long it takes to go through psychotherapy or therapy before you can start doing any kind of therapy, which is hormone and or puberty blockers and all this stuff. And puberty blockers can be stopped at a certain point in time in a teenager's life and reversed if they want it to be. So you can go through a couple years of therapy in different forms and decide you want to transition back into the gender you were. Nobody is forcing anybody to be the opposite gender. Nobody is going to kindergartners and saying, if you're a boy, let's cut off your penis and make you a girl. No, we're not saying that. Nobody.
Yeah, and no one is saying, oh my God, you're a little boy and you want to wear a princess dress. Oh my God, you must be trans. Let's get that bottom surgery scheduled.
Yeah.
Like no one is doing that.
No. What is happening And at least in the Americas, from what I've come to understand and from the research that I've done, and I went through body dysmorphia as a teenager, like I said, through the blah, blah, blah. Anyways, what is happening is when children are asking about things, you let your son wear a dress until he says that he feels like a girl, right? And or like you let your little daughter wear pants and male clothes, right? Until she says she's a tomboy or whatever. You don't question kids' stuff until they start identifying themselves as a certain thing. And I've seen this multiple times, and I did the same exact thing. I didn't understand how to like. Go ahead, Michael.
A friend of mine, his son was very interested in makeup for a while, and like he was maybe 5 years old or something at that point, and like they let him wear makeup, and he was born like he was assigned boy at birth, and he didn't saw himself as a boy, and then eventually he stopped enjoying that and moved on to something else. And like sometimes that happens, and sometimes it's something more permanent.
Yeah, exactly, Timali. Little kids, young
kids explore.
Young people.
Yeah, also, I think
No, go ahead, real quick, Brainless.
Well, I think it's also like as young kids, especially these days, like what is their role model that they see the whole fucking day? Usually, the most like it's mostly mom, and when they go to school, kindergarten, the little kids usually have female teachers. That's the role model they see. So of course they're gonna identify with that as well, in certain ways. So they're gonna be seeing the jewelry. Like, yeah, I tried on my mom's jewelry and stuff like that. So that's what you see, and what you see is what you're gonna be mimicking, especially when you're young. That doesn't mean like
kids are still taught that boys should wear this and girls are wear this. So I'm not sure how much of an effect that has, but yeah, of course it's gonna have some effect.
Yeah,
but, Well, a boy has still been taught that he's a boy and his mom is a girl. So, and that's different.
Yeah, but it's still something you see, and like they're
Yeah.
I'm not saying that is making kids gay or whatever, or trans, but like that is gonna be like that is stuff what is around and what they see. So
Okay, so let's just get back to a human being feeling comfortable in their own skin. They're only going to do certain things for so long until they don't feel comfortable once again in their own skin. It is when they say, I feel like this, and or I want to identify like this, or this is how my experience it seems to be coming out, that you need to like pay attention. Once again, things may be a phase. Like let them go through their little phases. Like if they want to skateboard, buy them a skateboard for a second and teach them how to, if they want to do this, just as a kid and a teenager, kind of guide them through different passages to get them to experience different things. And eventually they'll figure out what they want without being depressed and being suicidal. And that's a major thing we need to like focus on with the kids and teenagers is I was very suicidal. I cut the crap out of myself. I mutilated the fuck out of myself when I was younger because I didn't understand my body dysmorphia until just in the last 20 years, and I'm 40. So for 20 years of my life, I didn't understand being inside of my own skin and how to properly present it or whatever, or being okay with wanting to get pegged or with, even though I grew up with I grew up in the gay culture. My brain, because of my parents, and not necessarily my parents, but society told me being gay was bad. So even though I was hanging out with my gay friends, like thinking I was gay was kind of like, no, you can't be gay, And then finally, I was like, it genders fluidity through me. Like I'm gender fluid, or I'm pan, and I feel like it matters on who they are around me to how far I want to get sexually involved with them through whatever they are in their life as a human being, or pretending they're sorry, I didn't mean to say pretend. I don't know, but they have transitioned themselves into other beings. So there's, pup play, there's horse, pony, there, being
That is not the same
me,
thing.
being no, well,
that is pup play is pretend. Pup play and bone play is pretend. That is absolutely what it is.
Well,
that is
I
not
still
transitioning into
play.
Sure, okay, but I
Yeah.
still believe that they have a persona that they are being at the time, right?
Not any more than like Jon Snow is a persona for the guy playing him.
Okay, sure. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But by being identifying it's different things at different times. I guess. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Just opening myself up to being able to be open to more things, and not immediately saying, "Oh, I don't want to be gay," even though I have these feelings for other beings in different forms, right? So now that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to open up people to being understanding through different forms of beings and their ideology of their perspectives of themselves, and how we can make everybody feel equal through their transitions into whatever being they want to be. Because I am not anywhere close to being the cyborg I want to be. My eyes will be inked eventually. My tongue will be inked. 95% of my body will be inked, and I will have silicone implants in most of my body to make most of myself 3D, and I'll be a 3D living piece of art. So
But that what you just said, that's the whole fucking problem, because you started talking about equality. And a lot of people don't want the rest of the world to be equal to them.
Yes.
They need somebody to look down upon to feel good.
Yeah, and that's why we're trying to do this, and that's one of the main focuses of this channel, our Dissim Accords, and going on other people's channels and talking about stuff like this over and over again, and explaining it to the normals, and or if there's anybody who's watching this that does not know how to feel comfortable in their own skin yet, hopefully we give them an avenue to feel comfortable enough to transition into the being they want to be.
Yeah, and if there's somebody watching this and they need someone to talk to, this group has enough weird people with weird things.
Yeah, and we have a lot of
probably somebody that feels similar, at least similar to how you feel.
Yeah,
you'll find someone which are kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So if you are looking to get some help or anything like that, please come and talk to one of us, because that's why we're all here, is to help make sure we do not have more suicides and or people harming themselves negatively. There's way better ways to harm yourself positively if you want to change into being something else. Either it is sewing a furry costume and roughing up your fingers, spending that time, if it is getting body modifications, if it is transitioning through different other types of forms, through hormone therapy or something like that, which could kind of be uncomfortable. I'm not saying everything is painful, but going through the process of being the being that you want to do, you deserve that in your life, and nobody should tell you otherwise. And if you need support in that, there's definitely lots and lots of places to do that. Anyways, let's keep going on with this demonic possession for just a second. I think we kind of have gotten to where we have an understanding about kind of what's going on with this so far, and then we will go ahead and get to the other subjects, because we have like 3 more to get to.
The Catholic Church also has a strict deterministic criteria for possession as well. The case has to be confirmed via moral certainty. And under moral certainty, a person has to enter a trance-like state, and a demonic-sounding voice must manifest. The person then attacks religion and attacks the people conducting the exorcism, as well as displaying demonic manifestations of power, such as those that Dr. Gallagher mentioned. In these severe and extremely rare cases, Dr. Gallagher would give his go-ahead for the exorcisms to proceed. The second case that would change his outlook forever was that of a woman named Julia. He was approached by two of them.
Okay, just for 5 milliseconds. Yeah, exactly. It's a different persona for you for sure. Just like Hick McDickerson and Cookie, and I have two other personas that you all have not seen before. Are other ones as well. I have multiple personas I go as. So yes, there's an ebb and flow of how these things work. And if anybody has more questions about this, we can actually do a whole persona episode or something like that. And just have
I just didn't like that you compared it to being transgender because it's absolutely not the same thing.
I get you because you did not actually transition or put your body through a certain thing. And
No.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
It's
sorry.
also not like feeling that you are. It's
100% that. No, that's why we just tried to go through that to let everybody know.
I do think that there are people that are like
Night Ivy.
That are furries that actually feel that is more that when they're the furry that they're more themselves than when they sometimes pretend to be human. But
by the way, I'm not a furry. That's a different
no,
thing.
I know, but like they're
yeah, but for the audience,
and like in all those things, there are so many nuances,
and that's exactly why we like go over this and we talk about it, and that's why I have my guests on, because my punk ass could be on here every single night telling you what I think, but that's not giving that's us being inside of my own bubble.
Yeah, and like I think I kind of look in of it from the outside, because like before I knew this group, I did not know any trans people. I had a couple of friends in school that were gay, but like that's the closest that I kind of got to the whole community. But like but I have noticed that there is so many nuances in everything, because like Micro is a woman that was born in a male body, but there's also a lot of men that like to pretend to be a woman. And that's the drag community, and like there is so many.
Well, and then like me, I feel gender fluid, even though I have a goatee. I love dressing as a woman every once in a while. I love performing as a woman every once in a while.
Yeah.
So.
And maybe it is that you've not figured out exactly what you are yet, or maybe you'll never figure it out, because like you're actually somewhere in the middle.
Oh, like, you mean slim?
Yeah.
Well, the major problem with me is I was born with a huge genitalia, and most of you out there know that. And so I'm not going to get rid of that because I have to please you all with it before I die. And so it's just a thing to help you all out, you know.
No, but like, and that there is that there are trans women that don't mind their dig. And so, that are okay with it and can actually have pleasure from it. But like, and there's trans women that just accept, that's what I've got, that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm dealing with. And there's women that despise it and like almost start cutting on it themselves. Like it's like autism. Like everybody has it in a different way. For everybody, it shows up as in a different way. And I think because I realized that I can see that it's with everything, even with gender and sexuality. Like, it's, are you gay or are you straight? Like, or how gay are you? Like, I'm not saying that I cannot. I would never fall for a guy. Like, yeah, if I feel good and comfortable with a guy, why not? You know, but that's yeah.
Oh, cheese and rice. I did not realize that was that long. Are you cereal? Okay, well, we're only going to go over like 3 of these then. I did not realize this was 45 minutes. But it's okay.
Slim, if you want to do another video before Halloween about the possession thing, I will try and find some of the funniest possession exorcism videos on YouTube that we can all watch and have a laugh at.
Okay, sure. Perfect.
Sounds like fun, and otherwise do it on your stream.
There are some funny ones. Jezebel, I'll banish the demon from your coochie. The demon as you Jezebel.
Okay.
Is that what I should call my penis? The demon.
Totes.
Demon.
Okay.
Away.
So let's get to the we're gonna do 3 of the top darkest American urban legends. Because there's 10 of them in 45 minutes, and we're not going to get to any more of them.
Coming into number 10, we have the legend of the black-eyed children. Forget the black-eyed peas, meet the black-eyed children. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Children ghosts creep me out. They're the worst kinds of ghosts. Kids are creepy, end of really, but kid ghosts. Aha. Apparently there are some kind of creepy black-eyed children stalking the streets of Abilene in
children
Texas.
are creepy.
This story comes from a local journalist, Brian
I'm just
Bethel,
kidding.
who said that in 1996 he was in the parking lot of a movie theater when he popped on his inner car light to write a check. 96 and checks. See, this wouldn't happen now. 2 words. E-transfer. Wait, is that 1 word? Either way, I absolutely knew that archaic banking was a road to evil. Back to the story. Noticing the light in his car, 2 kids came up to his window, which he rolled down to see what they wanted. Now, the kids looked between 9 and 12 years old, and they asked him for a ride. He said they had a very uneasy feeling about them, and after a while, he noticed that their eyes were totally black. He wound up his window and got the heck out of it. But his story was enough to go line legend.
All right, next up at number 9, we have the Momo Challenge. So this internet legend spread like wildfire throughout social media. Momo is a user you guys are seeing on your screen right now. Absolutely terrifying. Well, whoever's behind this, I have no idea. But they got people to perform very dangerous acts and self-harm. Back in 2018, which isn't that long ago, this challenge went worldwide after a 12-year-old girl killed herself after doing the Momo Challenge. We still don't know who Momo is. We don't know who is behind it. People like Kim Kardashian posted on her Instagram story pleading for YouTube to remove all these challenge videos. Well, legends have it that Momo is still alive.
Moving on to number 8 now, we have Knock Knock Road. This one is for
Momo is like an art piece.
They're the worst kind of ghost.
Momo is just an art piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
Momo is an art piece done by an amazing, I want to say Japanese.
I believe
I
so.
have Japanese in my head too. I'm not sure.
I know they make masks, and unfortunately, that picture was stolen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And spread around, and now all the fake shit copies of their amazing artwork piece, they get no profit off. They get a lot of the blame for the Momo Challenge when they had nothing to do with it.
The challenge, yeah.
And like it's just a bit unfair for them because like that mask was so well done.
It was for sure.
It was really good. It looked so creepy because they did so good, even with the skin tone. Like they put effort into it, and now they're losing out on thousands, hundreds of thousands with the Momo Challenge masks that are sold around and all this shit. Like,
yeah.
They can't prove that it was their own thing.
No, they can prove it. It's just
it already went viral, so they're
it
kind
went
of
viral, and if they didn't copyright it,
oh yeah.
and then also Again, a lot
they
of
were
people
teenagers.
don't get this. Copyright
Only
isn't
works
as
in
cut and dry, right? You have to change a certain amount.
30%. If you change something 30%, you can technically use it as your own again. So there's all kinds of shit. And then if different countries, like you can do it in fucking Russia, who the fuck is going to sue you? Nobody, because if you're in America, you can't sue Russia, right? So
a lot of these companies make things in China where there is no copyright law.
Exactly.
If someone can make it better than you, cheaper than you, then
you're screwed.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so
also the guy talking about Momo, I thought he sounded like American Brainless. He kind of sounded to me like Brainless with an American accent.
Exactly, Tamale. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the third, second, and first of the 10 dark urban legends in Americas. So we'll go with that.
Press play. Anyone that is interested, since they talked about the Momo challenge, right? There was another internet challenge that went viral that caused a lot of people to die. And it was called the Blue Whale Challenge. What it was is you signed up to Blue Whale Challenge and you were given like 100 tasks to do.
Okay.
Every day, your taskmaster would message you tasks to do.
Okay.
Right? And they'd start off small. Steal a packet of crisps from the corner shop. Right?
Okay.
Tiny little thing. But each time it would get a bit grander and grander until it led to kill yourself, murder your parents. And they'd been grooming you the entire time and brainwashing you by getting you to do these little acts daily. Different, until they got you to start like self-mutilation and all these things. Like, it was a big thing. Like, the police were investigating it. They were trying to figure out who it was, because they were brainwashing these people and priming them for the purpose of making them commit self-delete.
Yeah, and the worst is, who are going to be doing those challenges? Kids.
Teenagers.
Yeah. So anyways, look it up. Let's see the last three.
We'll see. Let's go over that in another stream.
So I just wanted to like segue to be like, oh yeah, look at this one up.
Okay.
Yes, Alice.
Just write like as fast as you can, because like we are so far behind.
Oh no, that's it. I said what I wanted to say. I was just telling people look it up if you're interested.
Yeah, definitely. And we will do a deeper dive into all of these other weird thingy-bobbers like that in the near future. We're doing a bunch of crazy deep dives in or just looking into thingy-bobbers in the near future. So here is the goat man of Popelick.
Of Pope Lick. I love my job because I get to say sentences like that. This is an old Kentucky urban legend about a hideous being who roams the woods across that state. Those who have seen him describe the goat man as having dark fur, pale skin, goat legs, and twisted horns. Some people say he was an escaped circus freak. Others say he was a farmer who tortured goats for Satan. Satan then repaid him by turning him into a tortured goat himself. The goat man is said to hide under the rusty bridge that crosses Pope Lick Creek in Louisville. Legend says he lures people onto the train tracks there and then takes pleasure in them being hit by oncoming trains. Please don't go looking for this one though, guys. In 2016, a woman actually fell to her death from the bridge while looking for the goat man.
Coming into number 3, we have the monster.
Okay, so one fucking person died fucking going after it. No, he's not real. I mean, that if there was actually more evidence of him like actually killing people on the railroad tracks, maybe I could think of it. But one bitch falling off the fucking thing in the middle of the night does not
fell off.
Wow. Yeah, no, she was on the bridge and she fell off in the middle of the night. Yeah, that's how that works, dumbass. It was nothing to do with fucking the goat bridge man.
She was drunk or high, or she did it intentionally, or
Well, most likely she didn't bring the right kind of torch with her, right?
Yeah.
She didn't bring the right type of lighting, and she didn't realize she was gonna like fucking step off the fucking shit. She may have been drunk, but I'm not gonna claim that. Although I'm a drunk alcoholic and I'm always drunk, but go ahead.
Or a train was coming and like she stepped out of the way,
Yeah, sure. There's
Like
a
in that
bazillion-
moment, you're not thinking that, oh yeah, it's a bridge.
I don't know. I think he would have mentioned it if it was that intense.
So how many of you have ever walked around or across train tracks?
Yes.
We haven't.
No. Okay. Let me rephrase it a little bit. For the court, just kidding. How many of you have like not at a crosswalk or not at a place where there was like a rising across the train tracks? How many of you have walked across train tracks out in the wilderness or out in places that like?
Yes.
Okay, sweet, perfect. So you all know that like there's like usually
No, I
like
said
something.
I haven't. I don't.
Okay,
I said
okay.
I haven't.
Okay, so for micro, everybody else, help me explain this to other people. So when you're walking across railroad tracks, it usually is like in an embankment or above the ground that it is on. So like rocks are there, and then what you have to do is you have to step over a railroad, the metal, the iron rail for one side that sticks up 4 to 6 inches above the planks, right? Then you have to walk over the planks and not fucking get your foot stuck, or you have to not like fuck up there. Then on the beams and or the rocks in between and stuff, right? And then you have another fucking iron fucking rail that is 4 to 2 feet. It matters on what railroad tracks you're on and what country you're in. I'm just going to say 2 to 4, and I could be wrong. There may be wider ones. We're not going to talk about that. That doesn't really matter at this point. And then you have to step over to that. And then there is a kind of like a fall down. I mean, it can be pretty flat, but most of the time there's an up railroad, the beams, and then over it, and then down and down, kind of, right? You know what I'm saying?
Usually on a slight mountain.
Yeah, exactly, Tamale. So it's not easy to walk over railroad tracks, even if a train is not coming. So if you do get your foot stuck, or you do fall over this, or something happens while you're trying to walk over. Yeah, exactly, Tamale. So even I'm going to even stop right now, and I'm just going to go straight to it. If you all look up how many people have been hit by a train in Fort Collins, Colorado, in the Americas, we have recently had an elderly woman lose her leg and her arm falling over a railroad track at 2 a.m. because she was drunk. We have had multiple college students. Every single time college comes back in, 3 to 4 people die on the railroad tracks because it goes through fucking campus, literally. And dumbasses fucking get drunk, and people
you
don't.
guys have a drinking problem over there.
It's a college town. So, yeah, of course we do. Like, you can't deny that. The stupid thing is, the rail fucking tracks go through fucking campus at every 4 hours, let's say, which is it's way more than that. Every 4 hours, a train will come through town. Because fucking gas prices went up so high, all this other bullshit. Trains are being used way more than they have been in the last 4 years this year. So literally a train comes through town constantly. Where I live, every morning at 4 a.m., I hear a train blowing its fucking horn and driving right past me, and I hear the rumble of it. That's how close I am to a fucking train.
It's rolling round the bend.
Yeah. So constantly people are getting hit by trains. So you're trying to tell me that people aren't getting hit by trains in this area, looking for a fucking ghost in this area, or hurting themselves in this area? Bullshit. They totally are fucking themselves up doing this, because constantly people are hurting themselves on railroad tracks where I am. Anyways, the blow on.
Of Elizabeth Lake. While Elizabeth Lake in the Antelope Valley may look like heaven, it actually has a hellish legend attached to it. Los Angeles County's largest natural lake contained a nasty beast. Legend has it that the lake was created by the devil himself, and he placed one of his own pets inside.
Why would the devil make a lake? By a fire demon
to house his pet
On Earth, instead of where he is. And didn't the Bible say that God created all the water?
All this crap too. Yeah. But why
We
would
had
a fire
legend
demon
like that here?
Why would
And
a
it's
fire
so
demon? Anyways, let's keep blowing on.
If you swim deep enough, you may find a secret passage that leads to the underworld. The lake monster uses this passage to move between Earth and the netherworld. Now, the lake was originally referred to by Spanish settlers as La Laguna de Diablo, the Lake of the Devil. This was because they were convinced of the lurking monster. In the late 1800s, a group of men claimed to have...
So one of the reasons why some of this happens in some of these bodies of water is because people go swimming in them and they end up dead or being missing. Currents, the tides, and or other things cause this to happen to people naturally, and they don't know because these people don't know how to research stuff, and they don't understand the concept of like how things work because it's olden times. So they come up with monsters and creatures for disappearances. Like we're gonna do this in the near future. And I saw this like 2 years ago. There are 1,200 missing persons in Alaska every year.
Damn.
And a handful of people think it's fucking conspiracy shit. They're like aliens, Bigfoot, all these things. It's like, no,
What
honey,
is it?
it's
14
really
something. Like, people genuinely believe that the national parks in America are covering up some American monster, and that's why like so many people go missing in the national parks because there are things in there, spooky things like random staircases and
we can totally go over that in a whole thing for sure for urban legends in the Americas because there are places where if your punk ass excuse me, if your punk ass does not know how to read a compass and or how to survive in the wilderness in the Americas, and you go into certain state parks, you die. Like literally, I need to point that way. I literally can go and drive 20 miles up the mountains this way, and if you don't know how to live in those mountains, you're fucking dead. But people like me, we've lived in those mountains. I was born in Estes Park. I was born fucking 1,400 feet above sea level or 5,000 feet. I don't remember what Estes Park is in Colorado, but I was born in the mountains. I learned, I went to other places and blah, 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 moved around, but I learned how to live in the fucking mountains. If you do not know how to survive in the mountains, you die like instantly. Like you literally can drive. If you go to Estes Park during December and you don't know how to like wear the right stuff, you'll freeze to death in minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Right?
I wouldn't know how to survive there.
No. Yeah, and if you don't know how to make a fire, if you don't know how to fucking like hunt, if you don't know how to do certain things,
if you don't know what things to, if you don't know what preparation to do as well, like having a satellite phone, telling people your planned route, how long you're going to be there, what campsite you're going to.
Hold on, like what was the documentary about the dude who fucking cut off his arm because a fucking boulder landed on because he didn't tell anybody where he was and he like
72 hours or something?
Yeah, exactly. Somebody don't do that shit, motherfuckers. Like literally tell everybody where you're going. Yeah. Go with fucking multiple people. Never go alone. Take people with you. Make sure you have a satellite. So in the Boy Scouts, I learned how to be prepared. You always have crap on you to make sure that you can use. Never over prepare. If you have to carry 20 more pounds of gear on you, that's what you have to fucking do to make sure you don't die. If you can't fucking carry that weight with you or make it so that you can all get to where you're going with that weight, don't fucking go. If you can't carry the med kit, you don't fucking go because you're gonna die if you don't fucking have the med kit. If you can't bring the extra prostitute with you to have sex with her to not get STDs from Sasquatch, then don't. Never mind. Sorry. That's a different subject. We'll talk
the
about that
prostitute
later.
can walk on her own.
Well, hopefully, But sorry.
Well,
sorry.
unless you
Go,
fuck her too hard in her
I'm sorry.
ass. Then.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go, Micro.
To the prostitute. I'm going to bed.
Yes, thank you, Micro.
Good night, Micro.
We love you lots. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
So
Wait, hang
let's
on.
get further into
Damn
this,
it.
and then
I have food in my mouth. I didn't have a chance to say goodbye. Sorry, Micro, if you're watching this. Bye.
and we can tell her tomorrow and just some
Yeah.
close. So, anyways, let's get further into this, and then we'll talk about more of the stuff and things about things. But the urban legends are going to be done in just a second, and we'll get to even more fun things.
Witness the ascension of a vast monster with bat wings coming out of the lake.
In our number 2 spot, we've got the babysitter and the man upstairs. If you've seen the 2006 movie,
Have anybody heard about how this actually was not technically an urban legend, but we'll see what she says about
the
it.
Truth behind it.
Yeah, there's actually like where somebody was getting a phone call inside of the house from somebody, and when she called the police and asked where the phone call came from, it actually was coming from the house, and they sent police, and she went the person she was babysitting went outside the house, and when they came there, they actually found some dude inside the house.
Like, this is one of the real urban legends.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
urban legends are ones that are vaguely based on fact, but then
yes.
Chinese whispers exaggerate.
Yes.
And again, urban legends are generally a way to instill fear in you, but only a minute amount to what the real horror is, to scare you into not experiencing it.
Yeah, well, it was
Like the Halloween candy murder, right? It was dads that put cyanide in the pixie sticks of the children for an insurance scam, right? Someone did poison the candy. The urban legend is it was a psycho, and be careful about taking candy from strangers because they can hurt you.
Yeah.
But the real one was the dad was the one that hurt them. But it's using a factual thing to instill a bit of fear in you. Both scary stories are fun, but also lesson. It's to teach you a lesson.
Yeah, and one of the other things that they did a long time with wives' tales is you tell the children not to go out at night because they're going to get blah blah blah, so that they stay in, and that you can, like, you know, it's just a little bit more control over your kids through telling them stories that are jovial but technically don't harm them, but get them to do kind of what you want. Like, I was going to say Satan is watching you. No, Santa is watching you at all times. So if you do blah, you know, it's kind of that kind of thing. Like, don't go after dark because the Mothman is going to come and get you, and he'll steal you and take you away, you know, like those kind of things. It's just to get you to do things a little bit more. And they're just urban legends, but they're based off of something. There are people that will, like, if you're fucking 12 years old out at night, there are people that are going to take you. Like, that's going to be a thing. Not always and not everywhere, but, you know, that's why the urban legends are there. There's a nugget of truth behind them in some way, shape, or form, but it's mainly just a scare tactics to get you to, like, not go swimming at night in a place that has tides, right? Because you're going to most likely go under and not come back from that. But how do you explain that if you're a parent and you don't have any knowledge in that science, right? You're just going to tell people something that's going to kind of like correlate with what's going on around them to make sure that they don't get into harm through whatever.
Movie When a Stranger Calls, you know just how creepy this one is. The story goes that a teenager is babysitting some children for a family. She begins receiving phone calls from some sort of stalker asking her if she's checked on the sleeping children. The first call she believes is just a prank call, but when the same call keeps coming over and over, she begins to get very frightened and calls the police, who say that they will trace the next call. When they trace the next call, it is revealed that the caller is calling from inside the house. And he was calling from the phone upstairs after having murdered the children. It's safe to say I didn't do a lot of babysitting after watching this movie.
And finally, number one now, we have Cropsey. Many New Yorkers know the story of Cropsey, the boogeyman of Staten Island. Legend says that he was an escaped patient from a mental asylum who went on a murderous rampage. He had a hook for a hand.
Documentary.
I barely know about this, so let's watch it. Let's watch it, and then Vila, if there's anything you want to fill in after, please do for us.
Which you would then use to drag children back to the abandoned ruins of Seaview Hospital. Pretty creepy stuff, but here's where it gets really scary. Many parents would tell this story to their kids to scare them into being cautious about strangers, even if they didn't really believe the story themselves.
And to not go out at night and blah, blah, it's all scare tactics for children.
But then in the 1970s, a real killer called Andre Rand really did start hunting children in a very...
Look at how he has the spittle coming off of his mouth as they're taking him away. It's a very, very creepy.
Way. Was he using the Cropsey legend as cover? Either way, people now take the legend a lot more seriously.
Okay, well, there we blow. Thank you all very much for watching that part of it.
Yeah, that video, a lot of the pictures and video things you saw on that last one, the Cropsey.
Yeah.
It's from a mini documentary thing. I believe it's on Netflix called Urban Legend. And it is actually really good because they talk about the Cropsey, but they also talk about like the background because it's made by kids that grew up on Staten Island, and we're talking about like how their parents utilized it for, like you say, Slim, the sort of scare tactics to make sure they're careful, we're not to, and they talk about the other ones and like the actual effect of urban legends on the populace and what urban legends happen in what era depending on what event caused the urban legend to be born from. And it's actually really good, but it is also a bit B-rate because again it is just like student cam work, like it's not top quality, but in its rusticness it's good because it's real. They're actually doing it because it's something they believe in, not like, oh my god, this is going to be well profitable.
Okay, so give me just 30 seconds. I will be right back. I have to use the restroom. So talk amongst yourselves. Keep going, Vila.
Oh god.
Oh, okay. So what we're going to be talking about? Are we going to talk about how fun it was on the TMI show and whatever?
I was going to say, Brainless, tell us about a urban legend from your neck of the woods.
I really don't know. I really don't. What we have here? I don't know. Like we're a small country with relatively a lot of people, so we don't really have that much weird places.
Everyone has, like, every country has that weird dark story. Come on.
Not that I know. I'm not that it's been told to me. It's I don't know.
Right, hang on a minute.
Do we have any here? And maybe if somebody says like, oh, maybe that, but no, not that's something that just pops into my head.
It's like the urban legends from around the world are like really interesting.
Yeah, and especially because a lot of them correlate with other ones in different countries as well. So we have like vampires, we have werewolves, we have
vampires. They live in Staten Island.
Staten Island, yes. What we do in the shadows for sure, and other things like that. Just like all of the religions, you can find them kind of the basis of them somewhere. There's always a global flood or a flood throughout their area.
I do know one.
Anyways, let's keep blowing on because I want to get to what was the next freaking thing in my head and in my brain, and then cursed items. Yeah, and that's what I really wanted to get to because I love cursed items because I will show all my cursed items next week. I have some of them behind me, but I do have a handful of cursed items that I have collected throughout my time travels and or through my oddities thing. So I do have an oddities collection of a bunch of crazy shit. Like a double. I have a two-headed baby death casting from the Mutter Museum that was stolen from 80 years ago or something. They made a death casting of a baby that was taken from there. I have the skull of Abel in a jar. I have African idols that are possessed by children, and I have a handful of other cursed objects as well. I don't consider the African boy in the idol being cursed. He is very loving. He's very awesome. He has a lot of fun with us. He makes a lot of jokes, but he loves being introduced to new people. So he loves that we take him on tour and he goes places and he meets new people. He loves that. He's not cursed, but I have a handful of cursed items as well that are in my possession.
He's like Slim, an attention whore.
Yeah, no, totally. And he loves it. So we will talk about that in the near future. But as of getting into that, here are the 5 top cursed items found in museums that historians fear.
Number 5, the Ring of Silvianus. The Vine Ring, aka the Ring of Silvianus, is a gold ring dating back to the 4th century AD. The ring was discovered in the fields of a farm in 1785 in Hampshire, England. Originally the property of a British Roman named Silvianus. Apparently, it was stolen by a person named Sanicianus, upon which Silvianus hexed the ring with a curse.
Of course he did.
In 1888, the owner of the property wrote about the ring in the history of his property, which is now a National Trust property. The ring went on display there in April 2013, where it's been ever since. Oddly, in 1929, during excavations of the site of the Roman Temple of Nodens at Lydney Park, archaeologist Sir Mortimer Wheeler discovered the now apparent curse that goes with said ring.
Okay.
Consulting shortly after with one J.R.R. Tolkien. That's interesting.
Ooh.
The ring is apparently much larger than most rings as well, and was perhaps made to be worn over gloves. The band of the ring has 10 edges. Among it is...
So in medieval times or older times, you may have worn things like a glove or some kind of thing like that. And or they didn't always wear that on their fingers. They wore them on other pieces of jewelry, like a necklace or things like that. Maybe. I'm just speculating.
The goddess Venus.
I'm just testiculating. I mean,
live in God. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. The lore goes, while at the temple, Silvianus' gold ring vanished. Believing the thief to be an individual named Sanicianus, Silvianus demanded supernatural justice. And at the Temple of Nodens, crafted and carved a hexed tablet known as the Curse Tablet, or Defixio. On the tablet, he wrote, quote, "For the god Nodens, Silvianus has lost a ring and has donated 1/2 of its worth to Nodens. Among those named Sanicianus, permit no good health until it is returned to the Temple of Nodens." Yeah, that sounds like a spell to me. You better return that, buddy. Nodens is like Poseidon. Yeah, that's not good if he's out there looking for you. Number 4.
So I'm going to do one thing right quick. This channel, I don't know if we've ever talked about before. Top 5 Scary Videos is the name of the channel. Please, everybody go there and show them some love for doing this. This gentleman is really awesome at coming up with the content. I've watched a bunch of his stuff, but this is the first time we've used him in one of our streams. So here we go. Oh, wait. Now this one is 3. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
At something stolen. The statue of Osiris. In 1971, during an excavation in Saqqara, Egyptologist Walter Bryan Emery found a small statue of the Egyptian god of death, Osiris. He and his assistant returned to the dig site's office in a nearby village as Emery took the statue of Osiris with him. Once at his house, Emery went to the bathroom to shower, and after moments, his assistant began to hear Emery screaming. He found him clutching the sink, clearly experiencing some kind of trauma.
A heart
attack. His assistant said that Emery stood there paralyzed. I grabbed him by the shoulders and dragged him onto the couch. Then I ran for the telephone. Emery was diagnosed with paralysis of the right side of his body and was unable to speak.
Oh, he had a stroke.
He actually died
he had a
the following
stroke.
day. Talk about curse of the pharaohs. It's been said that there was a possession of a Canadian woman who believed her home had also become haunted by said statue. The woman gave it to the Ontario Museum, which returned it home to Egypt. Have we seen this video of said statue moving on its own? Like, this is from a Manchester museum, and this thing is just moving on its own all day. Yeah, this god's pretty powerful, and this stuff needs to be respected, you know, and returned. Like, you can't just steal stuff and throw it up in a museum.
There are multiple explanations for that, and it was probably a design of the statue itself to do that.
Yeah, so if you bevel the bottom of a stone and anything, you can do it of any product. It can be wood, it can be fucking stone, it can be resin, it could be my anus. But if you bevel a statue in the right way in the bottom, it will actually keep rotating itself every once in a while. If there's certain things that are going on, like air conditioning inside of a... Okay, so when you have a museum and you have articles in a museum, you're going to have them temperature, control, temperature control, right? So if they were to be pumping in cold or air into a certain thing and it was beveled in a certain way, that motherfucker would keep doing all kinds of fun things as long as you beveled it in the right way to get it to keep moving. So maybe you only beveled it for it to go left and right in a 60-degree angle, right? It would only fucking do that. If you actually beveled it to go 160 degrees, you can probably get a ballerina to be constantly moving, or every 20 minutes or every fucking hour that the heat or cold goes on, it will spin. There's easy little things you can do to make things fucking do things very, very subtly, that if you don't understand why they're doing it and you are not educated, you won't understand the concept of why those things are happening.
Especially the stuff that clearly says,
and we're not saying we're smart, I'm just saying
you will be cursed. We're uncovering more and more buried Egypt every day. Just please be respectful and leave the stuff alone after discovering and documenting it. And whatever you do, don't play any more instruments, okay? Number 2, ballista balls. Almost 2,000 stones were found
these are my
during
favorite
archaeological
balls.
excavations in the Gamla Natural Reserve, of which the ancient Jewish city of Golan Heights used to sit. This is the site where the largest number of ballista stones from the early Roman period were found. Basically, these little sanded stones are perfectly smooth and perfectly designed for ancient machine gun slingshots. Oh yeah, and of course, by sling or hand. In 2020, a ballista ball in Israel was returned to the authorities 15 years after it was stolen. Apparently, the balls were very cursed. Why was this particular ballista stone considered to be so cursed? Who knows? The artifact has been returned by an anonymous person under the name Moshe Manis. According to Moshe, the thief who stole the ballista stone stole it in 2005 when they were a teenager. Yeah. Oh, no, it's definitely not me. No, it's a friend of mine. Yeah.
It was my homie.
No, definitely not me. Him and his friends were touring a display of ballista stones at the Jerusalem Walls National Park in the city of David. These ballista stones were used by the Romans when they were fighting in Jerusalem in 70 AD as part of the first Jewish-Roman war, known also as the Great Jewish Revolt. The man returned the 2,000-year-old Roman ballista balls from Gamla and actually wrote a little note on it saying, quote, "These are 2 Roman ballista balls from Gamla, from a residential quarter of the foot of the summit. I stole them in July 1995, and since then, they have brought me nothing but trouble. Please do not steal antiques." You said it, buddy. Those stones have seen their fair share of bloodshed. You don't want any part of that smoke. And coming in at number 1, the Wailing Skull. Our number 1 spot, of course, the one that scares me the most. Skull banshees screaming throughout the middle of the night. Oh yeah, just screeching ghost heads. You know this is a thing, right? Like way more common than we think. Like, they're like everywhere. Burton Agnes Hall is in East Yorkshire, was built in 1598 during the reign of Elizabeth I by 3 sisters of the Griffith family. The youngest sister, Anne, was apparently attacked. They beat her after she apparently refused to give them her belongings. Locals heard her cries and came to her rescue and returned her home, though sadly perishing 5 days later. On her deathbed, she requested that the head be placed within the walls of the unfinished manor. The family ignored her request, and after she was buried and the house's construction was complete, the sisters began to hear sinister noises throughout the empty house. Well, screams, actually. The sisters returned to their family's vault to fulfill the past sister's request, and when they opened the tomb, the body was completely intact, except for the now smiling skull across the room from the body. Okay, the head was taken back to the Bert and Agnes Hall, and miraculously, the noises and disturbances stopped. It's like she asked to be there or something. The noises would only happen again when later residents tried to remove the skull from the premises. Yeah, I'd put that back immediately. Don't mess with people's scary like this, you know? The skull was later cemented in the walls for safety. Yeah, I'd hope so. Although the noises have stopped, Anne still makes a ghostly appearance apparently on the anniversary of her death. I don't know why people go around touching things, moving them around, like leave them where they land, you know?
Number 5 on this list is the die book box. This is an evil box that tormented many people and even claimed some lives along the way. Zach Baggins writes, according to Jewish folklore, a diabook is a dark spirit that takes over the bodies of living people and uses them for evil. Legend has it that a diabook can be trapped inside of a box and prevented from causing mischief unless the box is opened, that is. Several years ago, the diabook box came up for sale on eBay. The seller listed a vintage wine cabinet that came from the estate of a woman who survived a World War II concentration camp. The seller, an antique dealer named Kevin Manis, claimed that the first owner's granddaughter was terrified of the box, warning him that her grandmother said it held a diabook. After buying the cabinet, he was plagued by a series of unfortunate events and recurring nightmares of an old hag that would brutally attack him, causing him to wake up with bruises on his body. He also experienced an overpowering stench of cat urine in his home. Tragically, his mother suffered a stroke while opening the box. Not surprisingly, he decided to get rid of it. The box eventually ended up in the hands of Missouri Medical Museum director Jason Haxton, who was skeptical about the powers attributed to the box. He soon changed his mind. After acquiring the box, he began to experience a series of medical maladies, including bleeding eyes and strange rashes. He also began to dream of being attacked by an old hag and would also awake with bruises on his body. Kevin Manis told me that while the box was in Haxton's basement, a man died there and his body was found lying next to the box. He eventually became so unnerved by the box that he reached out to scientists and rabbis who instructed him to build a wooden ark lined with 24 karat gold, place the box inside, and bury it in...
20, God, son of a bitch. Yeah. Make a box and put fucking 24
Scam somebody out
gold.
Out of their money.
Yeah, exactly. You know how much? 24 karat gold foil isn't that expensive, but it's still not fucking cheap, bro. Your punk ass just made somebody fucking do something for no fucking reason, and then what are you gonna have them do with it after they make it? Donate it to you. Now you've got fucking 24 karat gold foil that you're at your disposal. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to these last two, and then we're gonna begin to get the fuck out of here because Widow's Sun stream begins in 30 minutes. So
cool.
We're gonna just
that
get
late
to
already.
these.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I know, and I still got to go get food. So
yeah, I gotta get up in less than 5 hours.
Yeah,
really
so here we go.
Even though history hasn't necessarily hidden.
You are very welcome, of course. You deserve it. So thank you for being here and helping us out always. Just let us know if we can help out anymore. But hopefully that helps you get towards that. Anyways, let's get to the chained oak.
Hidden it from us, it's definitely tried to negate the consequences. Atlas Obscura says the chained oak is an old tree wrapped in chains to prevent its branches.
And Atlas Obscura, we're going to be going over it a lot more in the near future. They are a wonderful organization that goes over the weird, strange, and crazy.
From falling. This is due to an alleged curse put on the tree when, in 1821, the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury refused a woman's pleas for money. It's said that she then put a curse upon the nearby oak. For every branch that falls from the tree, a member of the Earl's family would die. Later that night, one of the Earl's relatives died suddenly under mysterious circumstances. Convinced that the curse was true, the Earl ordered that the branches of the oak should be chained up to prevent more from falling. I feel for that Earl's family.
God damn it, I really do not. Well, mom, son of a beach. Mama, we're going to go over this for just like 5 milliseconds, and I'm actually going to do a whole fucking stream on this, but Zach...
is a prick. Sorry.
What?
Completely.
That Bagans is a fucking bellend.
Who's that?
So that's what we're getting to. Thank
This
you very
is
much,
our
Vila.
Ghost Adventures.
Yes, Vila, you and me are on the same page with this motherfucker, and I will fucking say it. Take me to court, bitch. Anyways, my ex-girlfriend actually went on ghost adventures with him, and so did her father. She was very, very friendly with him and a bunch of other ghost hunters until they became famous. As soon as they became famous, she'd like text them when they were in town or heard they might be, and was like, hey, when you're in Colorado, like me and my boyfriend would love to come and like ghost hunt with you, and nothing. Or he'd be like, tell her but I'm too busy for you. It's like, motherfucker, dude, like we literally don't want to be on your show, bitch. We want to just fucking like be there. And he literally like let all like her on 3 different of his episodes. Yeah, no, her, whatever. And her father was on one episode, and they cut them the fuck out of the episode because of whatever and blah blah blah. And they just didn't want him on. And like we've seen him do so many things like where he fakes a bunch of shit. Like he is not a real ghost hunter. He is out for the money. He's a grifter.
Oh yeah. The two things that pissed me off the most about him.
Yeah.
One, negligible, is I wouldn't be surprised if it came out that he had been utilizing his celebrity position to manipulate women.
Totally, and most likely he did because he's a chat. No.
It may well be because he only replies to girls bigging him up. Oh my god, you're so handsome. Yeah. Oh my god, I love you.
Well, that's
thing that made me want to punch his face in.
So Vila, that's what I was getting at was when my ex-girlfriend was like, hey, want to hang out? He'd like, fuck yeah, dude, let's go do some shit. And then she's like, oh, my boyfriend's going to come. And he's like, oh, we don't have any more room all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? Like he just wanted to fuck. He was trying to be a fuck boy and not actually. And then the more famous he became, the less he would try to talk to us, even though other people in the organization would talk to us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh yeah, fuck you, Zach. But yes, mama, he in Las Vegas supposedly has the largest bunch of cursed items together in a museum or some bullshit or like that. But anyways, let's get past that fool.
Can I just say the other part I was trying to say, please?
Sure. I'm sorry.
So the other part that made me actually want to beat him up was he very rarely had this couple on his show, Ghost Hunting, right?
Yeah.
They were the audio experts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was an extremely unfortunate incident where the woman, her ex-husband, was psycho.
Yeah.
He tracked them down and unfortunately murdered them both. And then I believe he killed himself.
Yeah.
Now, Zach Bagans didn't mention it for ages until his fans harassed him about it.
Okay.
And then he utilized their death for the show.
Of course. Yep.
Talking about let's go ghost hunt them.
Well, he did that with a lot of locations. He went to a lot of places and they made up fake things and they showed stuff that wasn't right. Anybody who actually knows how the equipment is supposed to be used and when it like goes off and how it is, they were manipulating it in certain circumstances to get it to do things.
I mean, within a year, before a year had passed.
Yeah.
Their first time they mentioned their death was when they said that we're now going to try and communicate with them.
Yeah.
Ghost hunting. He literally used her murder.
Totally, as a springboard to get
show.
To get clout. Totally, totally for sure.
Like,
so
I wanted to beat him for that. That is
me too.
disrespectful.
So that is one thing that I did not think about going over in the future, and we definitely can go over things like that in different paranormal activity channels and or shows. And hopefully we don't get copyrighted fuck, but we probably will. It doesn't even fucking matter. But let's get further into this because we need to end this soon so we can all get ready to get over to the Widow's Sons. And if anybody has the Widow's Sons stream link or channel link or whatever, please put that in the side chat now because I'm going to do this and keep going.
Like literally, I'm just a grandkid of this dude, and now if this tree breaks a little bit, I'm going to die? No, thank you. At least the Earl had the sense to chain up the tree and make sure that it won't happen to harm his family. But
branches are going to break off in storms.
And wham, now
So
some random person is just dying. Just pray that you don't happen to be the descendant of this guy, and if you are, cross your fingers those chains were done up tight. Number 3 on this list is the baker's wedding dress. Marriage is supposed to be one of the happiest times of your life.
Yeah, no, it probably doesn't make any sense either way. And you probably don't even know that you're related to them anyways.
Finding that partner you intend to spend the rest of your life with, and then actually doing just that. Therefore, one of the happiest days of your life should be the day that all of this becomes official.
Totally, Super Ghost. That's exactly most of what the time happens with that.
On the day
just like fortune
wedding.
tellers and things like
exactly
that.
What happened with Anna Baker. Scoop Whoop says,
Scoop
inside
Whoop.
the Baker Mansion in Altoona, USA, is the wedding dress of Anna Baker, who fell in love with an iron worker. Legends claim that Anna eloped from her home to get married to her lover, but her father forcibly brought her back and locked her in her bedroom. She then refused to marry anyone else and spent the rest of her life alone. After her death, the members of the Baker family reported spotting Anna's wedding dress at different places around the house. Some of them even saw the spirit of Anna Baker moving around the house dressed in that same wedding
See, that's the thing,
Imagine
Super
literally
Ghost and
getting
everybody else.
forced
I've been
back
in
home
this
and locked
industry
in
my
your
whole
room by
life
your
almost.
father as you're
I
getting
know
married.
fortune
It's no
telling
wonder that Anna was
and
pissed and why this specific object has
soothsaying
become
and
very
fortune
cursed.
telling
Now
and all
it's
that
locked up
crap.
in a
I've
case
been
and
doing it
hidden
my
from the
whole
world
life.
in the Baker Mansion.
Am I saying 100% that it's not true or there's not certain things? We don't have proof, and like there are people that are using to their advantage to take people's money, and that's the problem. Why we're going over all this crap. Not are these things not real or not? Sure, there may be fucking Sasquatch. I don't fucking know, but it's the people making money off of it without the proof that we have to talk about.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way I can put it.
I do think there is a difference in aging, right? So a ghost 100 years ago, it's different to talking about someone whose relatives are still alive today.
Yeah.
Direct relatives, people who met them. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I do think that makes a big difference. And then getting into it more, pretending you were friends with them, pretending you had a closer relationship with them than you did to utilize their death anyway, to then do other things. Like that situation was very multi-layered, but as it is, I think there is a difference within time past, but also I don't agree with profiting off the idea of this anyway. To me, it feels like a weird form of like servitude or something. To say slavery is not right because
sure.
That's true, but you're using them.
So really quick. Mama, you're right. I do not discount your incidents that you had going through things through whatever you experienced. One of the major things though that there is, and maybe the ghosts are very, very recent in the zeitgeist that you are in at the time in that area, right? But one of the major things that a lot of us forget is, and this doesn't disprove ghosts exactly, but if the joke is, if you were to time travel 100 years in the past, you wouldn't be able to understand that person, anybody. Even if you were in the Americas, even if you were in a culture that you understood the language, because slang would be so much different that when they talked, you'd be like, wait, what? You're saying truck, and in my day that means like a motor vehicle, but to you that means a trailer, right? So it would be very difficult for you to translate meanings and words and phrases and idioms between, you know what I'm saying? Like we talk in idioms way too much that most people don't realize we talk in, right? Or slang, we talk a lot in that people don't realize. You know how difficult it was for me to fucking understand all of you in the Europes for the first 6 months that I was fucking went on stream with you all? Like literally, I like was lost for a while until I realized, oh, biscuit means this, and you know what I'm saying? Like eventually I went, oh, okay, I can understand all the slang, and then I believe you all can ask me enough questions about the slang that we have here, what means what, and then we all were like, oh, now we all know what we're talking about. So if you were to go back 100 years, let's say a ghost appears in a place that you're at that is 100 years old, y'all would be really, really hard to fucking talk to each other. And the reason I said y'all was just to show that there's slang, right? So if a ghost is trying to talk to you that was 100 years old, you're like, wait, what are you saying? So it'd be hard to communicate with them. Not disproving that or proving that. I'm just saying that like it's going to be harder to communicate with somebody, especially like if you're a soldier, a German soldier that came over here first generation, or let's just say you're from another country and you come here into the Americas and you've not been Americanized. Well, that's not right. Sorry. You do not speak English, but now you're a ghost here, right? And you're haunting a house, but you're only speaking German. How the fuck do I know what you're saying, right? So just those weird little things, like how if I don't know how to say it exactly, because sometimes ghosts speak in the language specifically what you speak, and I think that is just your brain seeing certain things. But maybe you do hear a ghost in an accent or something else. I'm not downputting anybody's experience. We're just putting out ideas out there. Anyways, let's keep blowing on because, like, oh my god, we need to get there soon.
It's a good thing that it is, because what Scoop Whoop didn't talk about is the fact that this dress can actually be dangerous. As ridiculous as it actually sounds, it has reportedly tried to strangle people in their sleep before. I know that the image of a floating wedding dress trying to suffocate somebody
if you
is
feel like you're choking in your sleep,
I promise
that's
you
different.
that you wouldn't be laughing if it happened to you. I like that this thing is locked up.
I've thought that I was choking in my dreams and woken up and felt like I was choking for just a little while. So, out of body experiences, dreams, and other things like that, I cannot, I do not see that as evidence towards the paranormal exactly. If you're awake and walking around and you see premonitions or other things are happening and things are opening and closing, or you turn around and something is closed and now it's open or something other than that, then I feel like we have a little bit more evidence. But if you're sleeping and you have sleep paralysis or dreams, I don't see those as evidence of the paranormal exactly.
It would be far more comfortable if we just threw it in the fire and we're done with it completely. Number 2 on this list is the Anguished Man painting. The Anguished Man painting is pretty much exactly what it sounds like, a painting of a man in some very clear anguish. The thing is that this man doesn't really
I just
look
recently
all that
heard
human.
about this.
He hardly has any facial features at all and almost looks a bit like a burn victim. Also, where his eyeballs should be, there's just these 2 gaping holes, and his mouth also looks like one giant hole with no end. Even without the haunting associated with this picture, it's already pretty scary, and I personally have no idea why anyone would want it in their home. That's exactly what Sean Robinson did, though, and he quickly suffered the consequences. Scoop Whoop says, fascinated by the charm of the anguish.
I have no idea what Scoop Whoop is, and like we'll figure that out later. And if somebody wants to look it up and put it in the side chat, thank you very much. We're not going to go over it because we need to get the fuck out of here as soon as possible. So we're going to go over just a little bit more of this, and then we're going to be done.
Man painting. Sean Robinson inherited the painting from his grandmother and decided to hang the painting on the wall of his house. Soon after that, Sean and his family started experiencing paranormal events like cracking of the doors in the middle of the night and sudden blood-curdling screams from nowhere. Sean's wife decided to investigate the origin of the painting and found that the artist who painted the painting killed himself, and before doing that, he mixed his own blood with the paint that he used in making the painting. Learning this, the couple decided to hide the painting in the basement of their house in Cumbria. So the first thing about this story that is kind of questionable is how anybody could be fascinated by the charm of this thing. It's gross, and I don't like looking.
Okay, we're totally gonna be done with that. So I have friends. Really quick before I get the fuck out of here. I have friends that make portraits out of blood. There's 3 of my friends that are tattoo artists or painters and stuff that actually use human blood to make art. And none of them are haunted because they fucking use a little bit of it and whatever. And like, I just think that people use association for certain things and they see kind of what they want to see. But anyways, that's why we did this whole Halloween-y kind of spooky thing, is just to, you know, get you in the mood for the Halloween-weeny mummies. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say, thank you very much, Vila. I'm guessing you and Brainless are probably going to get out of here before we get to the Widow's Sons.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to be going straight to bed. I'm
totally. So
tired and a bit groggy because I've needed extra painkillers, seeing as the electric thingy's broken.
Yeah, totally. We understand that for sure. So, thank you very much. And Brainless, I'm guessing you're going to get off to bed, so you go ahead and take off.
Take off my clothes? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, take it off. Take it all off.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed in a second.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you all very much. I was going to play an outro, but I can't find it off the top of my head. So thank you very much for giving thumbs ups, for watching, for commenting in the future. Thank you for being here in the side chat. And thank you all for being here. And you make these things so we can actually do these things. Otherwise, I just get to talk to myself. And like, that's just not fun if I don't have you all here. So thank you all very much. And we'll see you next time. Everybody say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.